On behalf of Postgraduate Department of Chemistry and IQAC, Nabira Mahavidyalaya Katol, welcome you all on the second day of this 10 days lecture series of late Sri Bikulal Nabiraji. Dear all, on this beautiful day, we have fortunate to have Dr. Vishakha Telgote Madam with us. She is going to deliver a talk on simple and effective strategy for writing research paper. Now, may I request to Dr. Nilesh Kandare, Convener and Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Nabira Mahavidyalaya Katol, to introduce our eminent guest of the day. Over to you, sir.
Thank
Dr.
you, ma'am.
Nilesh Kandare.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, one and all. It is my great pleasure to introduce Dr. Vishakha Telgote Madam for the today's session of 10 days National Lecture Series. She is a head and assistant professor, Department of Chemistry, Pillai HOC College of Arts, Science and Commerce, Rasaini, Raigad. She received her PhD in physical chemistry from the Sant Gadi Baba Amravati University, Amravati. She has a deep understanding of green synthesis of nanometal for environmental remediation and extensive experience of teaching in various colleges. She has many national and international research publications, one Indian patent, 2 books to her credit. She has delivered many invited talks and presented her work in national and international journals. Dear participants, please join me in welcoming Dr. Vishakha Telgote, who is going to talk to us about simple and effective strategy for writing research and paper. Thank you. Dr. Vishakha Telgote, madam.
Thank you so much, sir, for that introduction. Good afternoon, all. So before I start my speech or this session, I first like to thank organizing committee for giving me this chance, this opportunity to interact with PG student of this college through virtual background or through virtual platform instead. I'm also thankful to Dr. Naveen sir, principal of Nabira Mahavidyalaya Katol. Again, I would like to thank Dr. Vikas Baras Gowda sir, IQSC coordinator of this particular college, and everyone who are like working behind the scene for making this event happening. Thank you all. Now when Gandhare sir contacted me and he told me about we are organizing some program for PG student, so shall you interact with our PG students. So one thing that came in mind, if I want to deliver one lecture to PG students, so why not to select one topic which would be beneficial for them in future as well. So I have selected this topic regarding research. Now for any PG student, like postgraduate student, they have to submit their research work, in the sense project work at the semester 4. So they need to write at least 2 research papers. So today I'm going to talk about some simple and effective strategies that you can use when you are writing your research paper. So I'll be presenting my screen. Please allow me to present my screen. I hope my screen is visible.
Ma'am, it is visible.
Okay. So let me start my session. So I want to ask one question to students over here, PG students over here. Can anyone tell me what do you mean by research? What is your understanding about research? Can anyone? You can type in chat box also. Yes, students, you can write, because I think for a university of, Nagpur University also, they have to write research paper in second year. So you must be dealing with writing research paper in second year of your PG program. So let me tell you, what do you mean by research and why there is need to take this research so what I can say, seriously and sincerely. Research in common, we can say it is like reference, or it refers to search of knowledge, or you can say in other words it is a systematic and scientific search for information on specific topic, right? So this is about research. Now when we are dealing with research, many of you must be going for your PhD program once you complete your PG. So at that time also you have to deal with research, and from where should I start, that would be the question. So I'll be talking about that only, from where you are going to start and up to what you are going to stop. Okay, so let me start my presentation. Just a minute. Okay, so let me start my presentation. So these are the objectives of my presentation. So I'll be discussing about what do you mean by research paper, how to read a research paper, what or how to search research paper, and how to write different components of research paper. So how to read a research paper? When you are dealing with research, the first and most important thing that comes in your mind is how to read research paper. It is not something like you are reading newspaper and you are writing something, you are taking notes out of that. No, first you have to analyze why I need to read research paper. So when you are going for doing or pursuing research, you have to deal with research paper reading. Now those who have already read some research paper, they must be knowing it is not easy task. You have to be very much patient, you have to take patience, you have to have some patience, and then only you can read that research paper. One research paper, once you read that research paper, nothing is going to understand. You have to read that research paper for multiple times, and then only you can take out notes out of that, and you can study that further. So you have to be very careful when you are reading that particular research paper. Now what is this research? So this is all about research. Research paper, it is citable. uh, Yes, it is something which is like citable document, which include observation, which include in experiments, hypothesis, logic, results, and it is actually reviewed at the end. So why to read research paper? Many times you must be thinking कि yes, सब लोग बोलते हैं कि research paper पढ़ो, you just go through research paper, collect n number of research paper of your specific area. But why we need to read this research paper? So first and most important thing is you get knowledge out of that. How many numbers of research paper you are reading, it is going to add knowledge in your basic knowledge. So you have to read research paper for that purpose also. You get or some you keep yourself updated, because see, if I'm discussing about nanoparticles, my subject of MRG is like synthesis of nanoparticles, and nanoparticle, it is like branch, very important branch of science. And if I'm dealing with nanoparticles nowadays, nanoparticle has been started since 2000. So much what I can say, information has been added, much work has been done on that nanoparticle. Even in that synthesis part, if I'm dealing with, so very much new methods have been included in that particular part. So to get your knowledge updated, you have to read research paper. Then it will increase your scientific vocabulary. See, when you are dealing with research paper, you just compare research paper with your textbooks. You will find these two are totally different. The language which is used in research paper is very much different than that in your textbook. So scientific vocabulary would be increased. It will be like you will be getting more scientific library and words. Again, it will create scientific aptitude in you. within you. So again, that is the reason why you have to read research paper. Now many a times what actually happened, we go and search research paper on net, we google it. So basically these research paper, they are like work, they are long works of researchers like professors, and they are just keep on updating that, they are just keep on adding some information. So the information that we are getting from research is research paper is like more authenticated, so you have to read for that reason also. Again, you can compare your work. Suppose if I am dealing with synthesis of nanoparticle, right, already some researcher have done that work, so I can compare my result with that previous results. So this is the reason why you have to read your research paper or read various types of research paper. Okay, now where to search research paper or what to look into research paper particularly, or what to be specific, how we should be specific while reading research paper. Just search specific subject or topic. If you are dealing with nanoparticles, which is my area, if I'm dealing with nanoparticles, so there is vast information which is available on nanoparticle. What actually I want, I would be searching that only. If I want to synthesize nanoparticle, so I would be searching for synthesis of nanoparticle. Other than that, if I'm making general statement what are nanoparticle, so you would be like finding information and you would be wasting your time, because when you start reading you get more and more information and you get more interest. So other than your topic you search anything else, so that should not happen, because time is very much important and you have limited time. So within that limited time you have to be specific about your topic, about your subject. Again, you can search according to publication year. See, as I have told you, science is something which is updating every day. Yes, so publication year is also important. If I have started my research work today and I am searching research paper since 2000 or since 1990, so from that year up to this year, last or vast work has been done, it must be done. So you have to be very much specific when you are searching research paper. So be stick to publication year, which is again most important thing that you have to keep in mind. Then journal name, there are many journals which are nowadays they are saying themselves they are like UGC care listed, or they are from Scopus, and so you have to be very much particular what kind of information and from where you are getting that information. And you can search research paper by author name also. So where to look these research paper? Many a times what actually happen, suppose I want to synthesize some compound, so I will be googling it. No, don't google anything, because many a times that information is not authenticated. So what do we want? We want authenticate information. So you have Google Scholar, you can put your topic name in that particular tab and you can get information. You search on Scopus, you search on Science Direct, SciFinder, you have BMC, you have PubMed. So there are many options available other than Google. So never Google any research paper. So how do these research paper look like, or what are the components of research paper? So this is how your research paper would look like. It will have name of journal, it will have ISSN number, it will have abstract, introduction, materials and method, then you will be having result and discussion, and at the end you will be having conclusion and references. So whenever you are finding any research paper, just check whether these components are there or not in that particular research paper. Now, how to read research paper effectively? Now I have suppose I want to search something, I want to write now, or you will be writing some research paper. Say your teacher has assigned one project to you, say water analysis only, and you are searching more information on that. So what you are going to do, you are going to first open Google Scholar, you are going to type your area. That means I want to do water synthesis by what method, because there are many methods through which you can analyze water quality or environmental remedies in water. So there are many methods, so be specific, right? And when you open tabs, look at publication year, it should be recent. If it is outdated like 1999 and 2000, so it is outdated. You have to be very much particular about updated knowledge. So publication year is important. Now what you're going to do, I want to write paper on water analysis in this particular area. So what can be done? So you're first going to deal, or you're first going to check what title is, if whether it is matching to your topic or not. If not, don't go for that. If it is only water analysis, but what kind of water analysis, whether that is from chemical, whether that is from BOD, whether that is in COD, whether that is from instrumental methods or not, so you're going to search for that. Then read abstract. After searching title, you are going to read abstract. Never go to introduction part. No, introduction, if you are thinking ki I will be reading introduction and then I will read abstract and conclusion, so you are like going in opposite direction. Okay, so while reading introduction, it will actually wasting your time, and you will be like getting more confused. So instead, read abstract. After reading abstract, you just go to conclusion. And if you found these to introduce if you found these two interesting, and they are of your interest, they are of your related to your topic, then go to introduction. Okay, and then you are going to read result, and then discussion, and what all research methodologies have been used in that particular research paper. So this is how you are going to read your research paper. Now I want to give you some tips when you are reading research paper. See, research paper or reading research paper is not something like you are just reading 50 research paper in a day. No, what do we want? We have to be very much patient. घाई घाई और जल्दी जल्दी में कुछ पढ़ लिया, and okay sir, I have read 50 research paper yesterday, so but I didn't get anything. That means you haven't read those research paper thoroughly. You have to slow down reading. You have to be more focused. You have to reach each and every line of that abstract. I'm not saying read introduction, read abstract. Collect 25, collect 20 abstracts in a day, read those thoroughly, and then you go or you just decide whether you have to include this or not. Then if you're finding reading online, just take printout, because many a times what actually happen nowadays also, students, they feel offline lectures are more beneficial, they are like more advantageous than online lecture. Reason everyone knows. In that way only, if you are finding reading research paper online more difficult, then take printout, collect all the research paper printouts, keep them and read them. Highlight, just mark, yes, I have got this point from this particular research paper, highlight karo usko. Then you will get idea ki ye note I have to include in my paper. So you don't have to again go back ki what research paper that I have read yesterday or before 7 days. No, once you highlight that, it will be like yes, I have read this research paper and I'll be including that part in my research paper. Okay, so note down keywords. Many a times actually what happened, when you're searching research paper, search from keywords also. I want to analyze water quality by BOD method, by COD method, by what I can say, measuring pH, by measuring alkalinity or so. So you are going to search keywords. So once you got keywords, okay, so these keywords matches to my interest area. So I'll be keeping this research paper aside for further reading. Okay. If you are finding, when you are reading something, some quiet place is required, if you are going by bus, if you are traveling somewhere, if you are sitting with your friends and you are trying to read research paper, don't do that. You have to be very much patient, you have to be very much focused. So this is again important thing to read your research paper. And even if you are not getting any idea, you have your professors, you have your teachers, you have your seniors, so take help from them. Okay, so when you are writing research paper, how you can go further? Ask few questions to yourself. What kind of questions you are going to add or ask? So you are going to ask what my research paper is about. Suppose sir has assigned some project work to you, and he said say you are going to synthesize some organic particle, some organic reaction you are going to make. So what would be the title? What would be, you are going to ask this question, what would be my paper is about? So my paper will be about synthesis, what type of synthesis it is, whether I'll be using green synthesis method, whether I'll be using some particular method, whether I will be using one pot method or so. So when you are asking such questions to yourself, you ultimately get idea, yes, this is what I actually wanted. So this is how you can assign, you can define title of your paper. So I'm just reading this, what my paper is about. So if I'm working on nanoparticle, so nanoparticles, so my paper studies whether nanoparticles are synthesized by green method or not. What techniques or designs did I use while presenting my paper while working? So I have used microwave irradiation technique to synthesize some nanoparticles. What did I study? So I studied, see, nanoparticles can be synthesized in different ways, and when we are using different synthesis technique, the time required would be different. So what technique I have used, and while using that technique, what advantage, what benefit that I have got? So I have saved lot of time. So this is again one of the thing that will come in your mind. And what were the results? So results were like applicable, these were applicable. Say, see, when you are searching, when you are doing, when you are dealing with research, you have to think in all point of view. Like, it should not be hazardous to your environment, it should be like efficient, it should be applicable. So by keeping these point in mind, you can go further. Okay, so use these keywords. So see, I have got list of keywords. I want to synthesize nanoparticle. By what technique? The question was by what technique, because I have asked these questions to myself only. So answer I have got by microwave irradiation technique. And what do I get? I get less time and I get less hazardous impact on the environment, right? So when you get these keywords, you can easily create one sentence. So synthesis of nanoparticle by microwave irradiation technique. Simply, you have got title of your project or your paper also. So this is how you're going to go step by step. Okay, so this will create a working title. Now always remain, you have to keep something in your mind. Whatever is important to write your, what I can say, research paper, include all those essential parts. You don't think I have to skip this. No, if it is important, just include. Okay, avoid abbreviations when you are writing title. Don't write shortcuts. Synthesis of silver nanoparticles, so instead of writing silver, if you are mentioning AG, so that is not acceptable, that is not proper way to write title. So don't do that. Don't use abbreviations or don't use too many technical terms, because when someone is searching, or even when you are searching something, you first, what you do, what you understood. So I understood nanoparticles, so I will type and search in that point of view. So just think कि कुछ कोई मेरे जैसा भी होगा कि जिसको simple words are easy to understand. So don't use too many technical words. Use keywords that highlight your paper. Green synthesis or microwave irradiation technique was the thing that can be highlighted. Okay, so these are the things that you are going to keep in mind while you will be writing your research paper. Now have set what I can say, title. I have read research paper. I have keep some what I can say, something in my mind. Now it's time to write abstract. Actually, abstract is the shortest part in your research paper. Hardly it contains 5 to 6 lines, and according or different journals, they their requirement is different, but the minimum word limit is 150 to 200 only, or 4 to 5 sentences. Now abstract is the last thing of your research paper. So you are going to write that abstract at the end. Why it is so? Let me tell you. Because abstract, it includes everything. It includes everything. That means from beginning up to your conclusion. So all the terms or all the lines, all the sentences which look in your abstract format, it show more or less what there in your whole research paper. Okay, so your abstract should be clear, and it should be concise summary of your work. Okay, so different journals, they may have different requirement of your abstract. Now what this abstract actually denotes, so first 1 or 2 sentences of your abstract, they usually talk about what are the research objective that you have undertaken. So what study you have made in this particular research paper, that can be explained through this first or second line. Then next sentence, it describes what methodology you have used during this particular study, right? And then third is what conclusions you have drawn. So last, or the fourth or fifth line will be, or sentence will be discussing what conclusions you have drawn during this particular paper or during this particular research paper. Okay, so abstract is we can say it is a summary of studies in very clean and concise language. So you have to be very careful when you are writing your abstract or abstract of your research paper. Okay. Okay, so moving towards next, after writing abstract is, or in any research paper, after abstract there comes introduction. Now, as I have already told you, introduction is the part that you are going to write at the end. Why it is so? See, introduction, it is something which is core part. 10% of your research paper is like introduction part, and introduction is many a times when I mean, if I don't know how to read research paper, if someone don't know how to read research paper, they will begin reading by reading introduction part only. So your introduction, it should be thorough, it should be like in stepwise manner. How it should be in stepwise manner, let me tell you. See, if I want my readers to read my whole paper, what I will do, I will try reader should be my introduction part should be more attractive, so that readers can read. They will feel, yes, this is something new that I can get information from. So your introduction part should be attractive, it should be clear, it should use all the things. Now when we are discussing about introduction, so 2 things that you are going to what I can say, keep in mind. What are those 2 things? Why this study, it needed to fill knowledge gap, or it is like needed to fill gap in scientific knowledge, first question. And why does this study need to fill this particular gap? See, when we are searching something, when we are dealing with something, some knowledge gap must be there, or some knowledge gap is there. Like suppose I am synthesizing nanoparticles through green technologies. Now green technology, what it means, it means anything that comes from nature, other than your what I can say, different methods which are used to synthesize, like chemical vapor deposition. And so green methods, it includes use of microorganisms, use of plants, use of fungi, use of bacteria, and so. But other than that, whether other branches, whether there is need to introduce something new. So if you are dealing, if you are answering, if your research is answering these 2 questions, then you are going in I mean proper direction. So what is known and what is unknown, it should be included in your introduction section. Okay, so what should be the flow of objectives? Identify, first you are going to identify knowledge gap. Yes, synthesis, I mean nanoparticles are synthesized from say plant, from microorganisms, from bacteria, but it is not yet synthesized from honey, from fungi. So what I can do, can I work on that? So you are going to ask such questions to yourself. So just identify knowledge gap and try to explain why this knowledge gap is needed to be filled. Whether actually it is needed or no, you are going to ask, because you are working on that part only. And summarize how these studies attempt to give or to fill this particular gap. So when you are writing, so when you are writing your introduction section of your research paper, you have to follow some steps. What steps? Actually, when you are reading any introduction of any research paper, you must be observing that there are say 2 to 3 paragraphs which are included. Now when we are saying ki, yes, ye 2 to 3 paragraphs to add kar diye, but why they are added? And if you read it thoroughly, you must be observing these 2, these 3, these 4 paragraphs, they have some meaning, they have something. Now what that something is, whether though that is like man se aa gaya to likh diya, or it has some logic behind that. So it has some logic behind that. What is that logic? Let me tell you. So when you are writing or when you are reading introduction part of any research paper, let me tell you, there must be, or there are 2 to 4 paragraphs which are included. So what this first paragraph is, it is composed of, actually it is composed of basic introduction. Suppose I want to write, I want to work on nanoparticles or synthesis of nanoparticle. So first paragraph of my introduction part would be about nanoparticles. What these nanoparticles actually, I will be giving background, I will be creating some historical background. Yes, nanoparticles have size between these and nanoparticles, how they are applicable, how they are evolving day by day. So the first paragraph or first para of your introduction section would be about creating background. Water analysis, if you are working on water analysis, so why water analysis is important, what do you mean by pollution, what do you mean by water pollution, and why there is need to work on these particular pollution. So your first paragraph would be giving some information, giving just access to that particular topic. Okay, so you will be creating background information of that particular research topic. And what would be the second paragraph, second and third paragraph? Now in second and third paragraph, you will be searching, you will be searching the papers that you have downloaded, the papers that you have read before. You will be presenting those papers in second and third paragraph. That means in short, you will be citing, you will be providing sources from where you have got these notes. So second and third paragraph, it has what I can say, more scope, what you have read and how you are presenting that in your introduction section. Okay, so this is about second and third paragraph. And in last or in concluding paragraph, what you are going to do, you are going to discuss, yes, this study have been done, now what actually I am going to do, what I am actually predicting, what is aim of my particular research paper. Okay, so these are the things that you are going to keep in mind. Okay, so this is how your introduction part would look like. Now can you see, it is something which is like inverted pyramid. And inverted pyramid, why it is included in research methodology? This inverted pyramid has a lot of meaning. Why? Can you see, it has wider, and as it goes down, it is becoming narrower. What it actually means, you will be starting what I can say, discussing your topic wider. You are giving ideas about your topic to your reader, to other researcher, and in that you are becoming more specific. So at the end of your introduction section, you will be more specific about your topic. Initially, let me give you one example. Like when you are watching movie, initially bola nahi jata ki what will be the climax. At the end, we look for climax. So full 3 hours we are sitting to watch climax. If initially only climax agar dikha diya, then it will be of no use. So you are going to create that. Now why I am using this particular example, because it is going to remember, it will be there in your brain forever. So when you are writing introduction part of your paper or your research paper, make it wider and then be specific, more specific. Synthesis or nanoparticles. Then nanoparticles are synthesized by chemical as well as by other methods also. By chemical methods, top down ho gaya, chemical vapor deposition ho gaya. Again, these are like quite hazardous to environment. They are creating more pollution. So to overcome that, many scientists have searched, they have invented new techniques. What these new techniques? These new techniques are synthesis by green technology. What these green technologies are actually? So these green technologies or synthesis can be by plants, by bacteria, by microorganisms, by fungi. Okay, So by fungi, if I want to synthesize my nanoparticle by say plant, so what kind of plant I'm going to use and how it is going to benefit your environment. So you have to be very much specific when you are writing introductory part of your research paper, and you have to follow this inverted pyramid so that you'll forever remember, yes, ऐसे बोला था. So I'll be keeping that in mind and I'll start writing according to that. Okay. So there are various steps that you are going to keep in mind when you will be writing your introduction part of your research paper. So what steps you are going to follow? So let me go through those steps. So in or initially in the step one only, what you are going to do, you are going to create background. As I already have told you, you will be creating background. थोड़ा सा बोलते हैं ना, मूवी देखते टाइम थोड़ा सा बैकग्राउंड क्रिएट करते हैं, देन वो बहुत लंबा खींचा जाता है. सो इन योर रिसर्च पेपर ऑल्सो व्हेन यू आर राइटिंग इंट्रोडक्शन, you have to create background, you have to set background, you have to tell your readers ki I have got this information, I have got this and this is like my subject area, and I'll be like looking in that particular point of view. Then you have created background, then you are like stating topic, what topic you are interested in, what topic actually your research paper is going to cover, and what problems have been encountered initially or before or in previous work that you are going to discuss in the first step only. Use keywords from your title. If you are using synthesis of nanoparticles using green technologies, and if you are not using any of these keyword in your introduction part, then it is of no use. That means you are totally contradicting your title. So you are going to use those keywords from title. Don't state anything like facts about your topic and all. No. And citation. Now when you are gathering information, right, so when you are writing something, when you are making some statement, as I have already told you, you will be collecting n number of research papers, right, for your reading part. So you will be selecting abstract and conclusion. Suppose I have collected 25 research paper, right, and I'll be writing only conclusion part of that particular research paper. I read a conclusion and I have copied and pasted in my paper. So that is not at all accepted. It will create trouble because it is nothing but plagiarism. You are directly stealing some data from someone's property, right? So don't do that. You have to cite that particular paper in your introduction part only. Okay. So this is step one that you are going to follow. Now, step two is what you're going to show gaps. Suppose suppose me and my colleague, we are synthesizing something in lab, and I have synthesized say nanoparticle using chemical vapor deposition method, right? Or suppose I have analyzed what analysis I have done. I have selected, I have collected some water samples from nearby region, from nearby MIDC area, and I have started working on that. I have got some results also. Now what my colleague is doing, he will look what actually gap is remained, it is actually left untouched. So he or she will be working on that, right? So you will be showing what are the knowledge gaps, what gaps should be there, or what gaps are there, and how these gaps can be filled. So what methods other than the method that I have used, what can be used by her, what can be included by that particular my colleague. Okay, so you have to fill that knowledge gap with your research. Okay. Here in this particular section or in step 2, you are going to cite some research paper. You can include statistical data like this percent, or you are going to give brief idea about that particular research work in this particular section of your introduction part. Now you have got yes, whatever Vishakha has done, it has some discrepancies, it has some disadvantages. So my study would be better than her. She has shown what analysis she has selected, what analysis topic she has searched for different, alkalinity of particular water sample by this particular method, by measuring potential or by measuring conductance. Now, other than that, how I can fill those gaps, whether their new method, can I invent, can I search for new method so that I would be getting some new topic for my research. Yes, you actually should study what knowledge gaps would be there, and so that you are creating the base, the fundamental of your research work. So just what I can say, just state the purpose, give clear idea कि previous work which was done, it has got it has these discrepancies, these disadvantages, and I am going to, or this my particular study is going to overcome the advantages or disadvantages which were seen from that particular studies. Now, when you are writing your introductory part or introductory section of your research paper, when you're changing lines, when you're changing sentences, when you're making some statements, use few words. If, then, use like nevertheless or suppose. So this will be creating more what I can say, attractive introduction of your research paper. Now, when should I write introduction? So this is how your research paper will look like. So first you will have abstract, then it will be like introduction. After that, materials and method, then results, discussion, and bibliography or your references. But actually, how your research paper should look like, or when you start writing introduction, so let me tell you. First, you will be reading and writing about discussion part. Your results would be there, what all materials, methods, procedures you have used to carry out your research, and at the end, introduction. Now, why introduction should be right at the end of your research paper? See, when you are doing research work, if you are writing, if you are what I can say, searching something in one day, it is okay. But writing research paper, it is not like bas मैंने सोच लिया and मैंने लिख लिया. No, it is not like that. It would take 2 months, 3 months, 9 months, or whatever time. So when you are writing research paper in that that span or that period of time, knowledge is updating. Every day something new is being added, so you have to keep on updating yourself. You have to take into consideration, yes, today I have read something about this, I will be adding, so keep on adding. I have got some information about my topic, so keep on adding. So you have to revisit introductory part or introductory section of your research paper time to time, and once you complete these procedures, these steps, at the end, again you reframe your introductory part. Okay, so this is how you are going to write introductory part of your research paper. Now, what are the different steps that your introductory part, or how can you write introduction of your research paper? So always keep in mind, when you are writing introductory part, write in active voice only. Okay, we are telling to our readers, so don't use or never use your in a passive voice, or never use sentences in passive voice. Use always active voice. Your sentences should be clear and concise. Use stronger verbs, right? If you read research paper, you must be observing ki the word, the language that is there in research paper would be totally different, so you have to use words, verbs accordingly. Don't overuse first person pronunciation. No, don't use always active voice. And organize your thoughts from, say, broader to very specific. I have searched this much information, and then I'll be like specific. So inverted pyramid you are going to always keep in mind when you are writing introductory part of your research paper. So this is all about your introductory section of your research paper. Now moving towards next is what literature review. So what do you mean by literature review? Can anyone tell me what do you mean by literature, and how you are going to what I can say, work on that? Yes. Can anyone, I mean, you can type in chat box also. What do you mean by literature? It is not something which is associated with arts. Literature, we basically we say literature is something which is which art people are doing. No, from research paper point of view, what do you mean by literature? Literature review. Yes, I think someone has typed something. Okay, so yes, Chandra Kumar has typed that it is something or searching for more articles, previous research work, right? So it is something which we can say the work which already have done, and we are citing that, we are using that in our research work. So literature review, it is like objective, concise, critical summary of your publication work or research literature which is relevant to your topic being cited, being included in your research work, right? Now why this literature work is so much important? Can anyone tell me why this literature review is important? What if we are not include that literature review in our research paper? Is it okay if you are not including that in your research paper? Yes, is it okay if I don't want to include literature review in my paper? Will that be fine? No, it is not at all fine. You have to include literature review in your paper. Now why? So you are what I can say, you are observing, you are reading, you are let me tell you, you are relating. I want to search what do you mean by nanoparticle or how to synthesize nanoparticle. So I will search what previously has been done, yes or no. So what is there in previous years, what yesterday has done, and whether can I work on that. So this is what your literature work is, and this is how literature work is important. So literature work, it can be, or you can collect literature from journals, you can get it from books, from various online sources you can get literature. So a good literature, it should focus on unsolved debates, inconsistencies, the questions in literature field. Just try to summarize most relevant important aspect of scientific research or scientific literature which is associated to your area of interest. Then synthesize the past and current. You are going to fill that gap. Yesterday kal kya hua tha, kal what was there in 2017 and what is there today, whether that is I mean they are going parallel or they are going in different way. So you're going to search, you're going to focus on that particular thing, and that will be creating good literature review. Okay, so if I want, suppose nowadays also now in MSc, so at second year or semester 4 you must have a specialization, subject of specialization. Suppose my subject of specialization at the MSc level was like physical chemistry. So if I want to give exam in physical chemistry paper, so why I will go for to buy books which are from organic chemistry, which are like Hui, which are like Spook. I will get those books when I will be, and when I was in first year. But for second year I would require something which totally focused on physical chemistry. I will go and buy Ira Levin, I will go and buy Banwell, I will go and buy Atkins, which are of my subject. So creating literature review is like establishing bookshelf itself. You are suppose if you want to search what analysis, so what analysis is done by pH-metry. It can be done by pH-metry, by potentiometry. So what you will do, you will go and search on Google Scholar or Skydirect, and so you will be searching You will be creating one folder in your laptop, in your PC. Yes, I have got synthesis of nanoparticles by fungi, and I have got 25 to 30 books, papers, research paper. So I'll be creating one folder. Again, green method, so synthesis of nanoparticle by bacteria. I will search and I have got 30 papers related to that, so I will be creating that folder. That means I am creating bookshelf. Okay, so creating bookshelf for your literature review is very much important. And why it is so? Because you understanding of identify which study important, which are not. If I want to search nanoparticles, and if I'm keep on studying nanoparticle, keep on searching nanoparticle, it would be like taking so much time, and at the end मेरा जो इंटरेस्ट है वो नैनो पार्टिकल से पूरा उतर जाएगा. But if you are specific, if you know what you want, and if you are searching in that point of view, then it would be better. Okay, so just put all those research paper together. It will be creating your bookshelf, because you want these to be included in future in your paper. And yes, you have gathered that information, you have compiled, and you have created one document. So creating or writing good literature review will be like creating or establishing bookshelf only. Okay, so what should be included when you are writing literature review? So historical background. पहले क्या हुआ था, what was done initially in that particular specific area, and now what actually is happening in that particular area. So you have to write, you have to check, you have to create historical background. अगर nothing has happened, ऐसा तो कुछ कोई टॉपिक ही नहीं है कि कुछ भी नहीं हुआ है, and you are the one you are certain. It is like very rare cases, in very rare cases that would be happening. But what you are going to do, you are going to create historical background for your research. Include the theories, various theories which are associated. Suppose water analysis you are going to do, so why there is need to create or need to search more on that. Everyone knows water is like global problem nowadays, right? So just go back and just search what you are going to include. Pehle kya hua tha, and now what new you are going to discuss, new you are going to talk about. So just try to fill those gaps. Now there are different type of literature reviews. So you can get literature reviews through journal studies, through dissertations or thesis. Just keep on reading dissertations of previous years, your seniors, your guide, or whether I mean of your interest area. So just go and search on topics you are interested in, course alignment, literature analysis, so you can get information from that point of view also. Now so when you are writing your literature review, so it should be, or it should look something like that. So you should have some background. Then green synthesis ho gaya. So green synthesis mein itne sare scientists, they have worked on green synthesis of nanoparticle, but in that few scientists are there who use plants for synthesizing nanoparticles. So you have to be specific, as we did in the introductory part. So you have to create one background, then just go more specific, and again go more specific. So at the end you will be writing, suppose if I have searched since 2019, 2017, so from 2017 what work was done on green synthesis. If green synthesis by a plant, animal, fungi, or microorganism, but in that what I'm interested in, what my area, what I'm talking about, what I'm discussing about. So I will be discussing about plants. So just include these scientists in year 2018 or sorry 2020, 21. These scientists have invented few nanoparticles, few nanoadsorbents, and they are synthesized from various plants, various categories of plants. So you have to be more specific towards the end, and years also you have to consider. And whenever you are writing literature review, you have to cite, you have to acknowledge references. Okay. So when you're writing, so these are the things that you are going to keep in mind when you are writing your literature review. Now when you are writing actually literature review, one thing that you will come to understand that this is not linear process, right? You have to keep on updating, you have to keep yourself updating. Yes, कल क्या हुआ, कल कुछ नया invent हुआ, कुछ नया procedure, नया nano particle invent हुआ. If yes, you have to include that. You have to include and you have to acknowledge that also. Go back and check literature while reformulating your work. Then work on literature before, during and after your work has been done, and apply these steps to write your literature review. Okay, so what are the steps that you are going to write when you will be writing your literature review? So these are the steps that you are going to follow. So first, choose topic. What kind of topic you are going to choose when you are writing literature review? So topic that you are familiar with, you are interested in. If I am familiar with nanoparticles, if I want to write if I'm interested in nanoparticles, if I'm interested in water analysis, so I will be searching, I will be getting more information, I will be searching literature on that particular point only, on that particular topic only. What your readers, what your researchers want you to write, so just try to include that part also. Try to include current topic. It is not something ki बहुत पुराना लिख लिया and in that some advanced technologies, some new, some updated knowledge has been added. So don't do that. Current, you are going to write about current situation. Second, collect information from various sources. If I want to write one topic and if I'm referring only one book, जो भी उस book में है, मैंने what I have done, I have written that those statement in my own word, but I have referred to one book only. No, it will not be accepted, because area, if research area is so vast, why you are limiting yourself to one source only? Go and search a dissertation, search through online research paper, search through books. There are many journals which will give you idea about your topic. So just go and search the topics that you are interested in. Then analyze. You are going to analyze work. Suppose I have collected 25 to 30 papers on synthesis of nanoparticle by fungi. Now what I am going to do, I will analyze, I will put those that information in chronological order. पहले क्या हुआ था, उसके बाद what actually has been added to that particular topic, then afterwards what extra has been done in that particular topic or on that particular area, and so you are going to analyze, you are going to thoroughly summarize, you are going to thoroughly analyze what actually you want and whether it is there in your findings or not. Then describe. Once you have gathered all the papers, research paper together, if you compile all the research paper together, then determine what are all important things that you are going to include in literature review. Suppose I have I have collected say 150 literature, 150 research paper, and I want to include all. It is not at all possible. It is not at all possible. 150 papers ko include karna is not possible. So what you are going to do, you are going to take important, you are going to focus on those who are like nowadays what I can say, which is more relevant, which is more authentic, which is more nowadays wala jo abhi ka publication hai, I will be focusing on that. So you are going to discuss, you are going to determine 2-3 important concepts that should be included in your research or in your literature review. Okay, and at the end, now you have gathered, you have collected, you have determined, you have noted down all the things. Now demonstrate how concept in your literature review are important, or how they are like related to your research studies. Establish how, you are going to correlate, you are going to connect that literature review with your topic, with your area of interest. So highlight those concepts. um, um, don't limit yourself to one or two books, one or two papers only. Go and search on n number of books, whatever books or whatever research paper you can search, you can find. Just go and find, just go and get, just go and collect those paper and study those thoroughly, and check whether any of these research paper they have some issues which are like not addressed, which are not included, and you can include that topic, that issue in your paper. So just go and demonstrate that particular concept in your research paper or in your literature paper. Okay, so these are the steps. Now identify relationship between literature and connect to your own ideas, as I have already told you how you can do that. So you are going to include this step also. Now I have got introduction part. I have included 4 to 5 steps to write introduction, and each para has some goals. Each paragraph of introduction has some goals, and those things to be included, and that in that particular paragraph of introduction, various paragraphs of introduction. Now literature review, I have to follow some steps, and those steps are equally important. So when you come up to this point, you have to be more focused, you have to be more what I can say, you have to use some techniques to be like to create more attractive, create more concise literature review. So these are the steps that you can follow when you will be writing literature review. So clearly define topic to your audience, right? So what topic you are interested in. So if you are talking other than your topics, then it will be of no use. If I have called for talking on research paper and I am talking something different, then it is of no use. So just clearly define what topic you are going to discuss in your research paper. Then read as many as literatures articles possible. Focus on more current sources. If you are searching outdated sources, or those who are not having any value nowadays, then it is of no use. Then it is like bolte na wo purana hai, and see now what new is happening. So don't do that. And take notes while you are reading literature. So when you are writing or when you are reading and if you are writing notes simultaneously, it is going to benefit you only for your research paper only. So these are the tips that you're going to follow. Now till literature review, I know what I should do, or in which direction should I go. After literature review, after searching what actually happened previously and what I'm interested in. Now what I'm interested in, I have got before this only, but how I'm going to go in that direction is like defined by this particular section of your research paper, that is methodology or a method section. Now a method section is what it is, a step-by-step description of execution of your research, how your research has been carried out. So that can be discussed in this particular section of research paper. So it will lead to core of your research, guiding the reader through actual journey that you have gone through. Okay, so 2 questions when you are writing methodology part of your research paper you should ask. Let me tell you first what this methodology or what this research methodology is. Actually, it is one of the most important part of your thesis or your dissertation. Actually, it allows readers to evaluate reliability and validity of your work. And yes, if you ask these 2 questions to yourself, you will get an idea ki what method you are going to actually use. So how data was, or how was data collected, or how it is generated, and how it was actually analyzed. So these two questions are most important when you are going to go for various methods or methodology section of your paper. Now let me tell you here, methodology and methods, these are two different things that you should keep in mind. Now methods is like research tool, like you have qualitative methods, you have quantitative methods, you can use sampling and so. And methodology is what it is, like justification for using particular research method, why I have used this particular method, why I have used green synthesis, why I have used say one pot method for synthesis. So that would be justification. And if you are using one particular method, qualitative method, so that is method only. So don't get confused between these two. Okay. So when you are writing what I can say, methodology section of your paper, you have to follow certain steps. What steps you are going to follow? You are going to do your methodology section step by step. So now in step 1, what you are going to explain? You are going to explain about your methodological approach. What actually method, or what your research problems, and what type of data you are going to analyze through this particular research method you are going to use. Did you describe characteristics, something to gain or more depth information you are going to get about this or regarding this method or not? And again, what type of data you are going to get, whether it is like qualitative data, whether it is like quantitative data, what type of data you are going to actually find out using this particular method is actually included in this particular methodology session. Now second step that you're going to include is what you're going to describe the method that you have used at the time of data collection. So suppose a sampling method, if you have used while collecting data, or what basic criteria actually or you have used or you have selected while you are going for this particular method. So you are going to discuss about that. Suppose I have used some method while synthesizing nanoparticle using green technique by plants. So why I have selected that particular method only. So you are going to give some idea, you are going to discuss about that particular thing. Okay, so what tools you have used, what procedures, what methods, what materials you have used, you will be including in step 2. Okay, so we are writing and the most important thing that you are going to write your methodology section, use or always use past tense, because we already have studied, we already have done that part. So you are going to keep this in mind. Write your methodology section in past tense only. Never use present tense or never use future tense, because it will not be considered then research that you have already done. No, so always use past tense only. Now the third step that you are going to discuss is like you will be evaluating, you will be justifying your methodological section. So just discuss how other methods are not like suitable for this particular synthesis, and how your method is more what I can say, more valuable or more suitable for this particular synthesis of say anything that you are going to synthesize. That can be organic particle, that can be organic material, that can be nanoparticle, that can be synthesis, or that can be analysis of water sample or so. So you are going to firmly saying yes, this method I have used, it is more eco-friendly, it is less hazardous to environment. So you are going to mention in step 4. Okay, so these are the things that you are going to keep in mind when you are writing methodological section. Now what you are going to avoid when you will be writing methodological section of your paper So keep your methodological section very straightforward. Don't look or don't include all the methods which are related. Agar if organic particle can be synthesized using various methods, don't use those. The method that you have used, just focus on that part only. Don't use irrelevant information. Whatever relevant to your topic, if you are like synthesizing pyrosol, and the method would be like one pot method you are using, and if you are discussing other than pyrosol, if you are discussing other skip bases which are of no interest, don't use that. So use only relevant information. Use basic or give basic procedure. I mean, don't give any basic procedure. Take RB flask and then take put this CM cube and then heat for so and so. No, procedure or basic procedure everyone knows. What actually is required, what you have done, what new you have done in your methodological section. So you are going to deal, or you are going to focus on that only. And if synthesizing or while synthesizing something, if you are facing, if you have come across some problems, some difficulties, you are definitely going to mention. You are going to specify that. Don't ignore that, because that is encountered when that problem you have encountered when you are synthesizing. So that can be like creating base for other researchers also. Okay, so now you have synthesized say something, some organic material, some organic compound you have synthesized, some nanoparticle you have synthesized using XYZ method, XYZ methodology you have included, and you have got result. Now let me tell you, result section is what I can say, it is hard. It is actual truth of your finding, what you have done, whether your research was false, whether you have copy and pasted, or actually you have done that part or not. So that can be analyzed, that can be seen from this particular section of research paper, that is your result section. So I would say key result section is what truth of your study. Now this section, what actually this section state, it states findings of your study, your research, and you present those findings, those data in logical sequence without biasing anything, without interpreting. I mean, you are not any problems that you have with your data is like included in research section. So research section, it should contain only facts and no interpretation should be included in result section. Why? Because to interpret data, to interpret result, you have another section which is like we are I mean, it is included in discussion section of your research paper. So don't worry and don't interpret your data in result section itself. You are just going to put what values you have got, what finding you have get during this paper or during this method. Okay, so what should not be included? It should include direct finding, and indirect finding, it should not be included. Okay, so don't include methods of analysis that I have used this method to analyze this particular data. No, because we already have included that in the methodology section. Don't include background, don't create any background. If you are writing result and if you are creating a background, yes, nanoparticle which were like synthesized by this, and if you are giving lengthy information, then it is not acceptable. No one is interested in that. What is interested or what actually is required, it requires your data in form of figures, in form of tables, in the form of graphs. So from that graphs, from those tables, ultimately reader will come to know, yes, this particular research has got this particular data, and this data is quite like what I can say, it is sufficient, it is of my interest. So don't include background, don't include or don't interpret your data in result section only, because we have another section to discuss interpretation of your result. Okay, so how your data or how your result should be look like, or it should, what should be included. So your result should be organized in logical way. So method of analysis, background, present study or address specific research question, it should be mentioned over there. Different types of graphs, like you can present your data, your finding through various type of graphs, like scatter graph, you can use line graph, you can use bar graph, you can use various tables, you can use or it can be used by histogram also. So these are the things that you are going to discuss when you will be discussing about result. Now, sorry, just a minute, just a minute. Just a minute. Okay. So how to write result? Start writing your result with paragraph, not with table. If result section is given, and as I have told you, you will be saying ki ma'am, you said ki don't write anything, don't make it too lengthy. But yes, don't start your result by showing paragraph, by showing graph or by showing table. Result and below result, if you are putting table 1, table 2, table 3, graph 1, so it will not be accepted. It is not proper way to write result. So give some basic information, start your paragraph or start your result by making sure you will be discussing what table 1, 2 and 3 is like actually explaining, actually indicating. So start it with that, and you should explain any missing thing or any problem you have encountered when you are dealing with data, or when you are getting that particular data. And then you're going to explain, you're going to discuss about your main result, and you will be discussing hypothesis, or you will be addressing your hypothesis that I have predicted, this was prediction, I hypothesized that, and so. Okay, so what are the things that you should not indicate, you should not include in your result section? Don't include raw data. Don't make reader interpret key what actually this particular data, this particular result is showing or it is trying to tell. So don't do that, because reader, others are not at all interested to interpret. Suppose if I have synthesized nanoparticles by microwave irradiation technique, so I will be putting the method, the plant that I have used, and the time. So time I will be mentioning, okay, this much time has been taken to synthesize, but I would, or I have to specify कि less time has been done. I will not let others or let readers interpret कि हाँ इतना तो लिखा है, so आगे जो समझना है समझ लो. No, you have to be very much specific. So don't do that. Don't describe your tables and figures too much in too detail. Table 1, in table 1, column 1 is indicating this, column 2 is indicating that, column 3 is indicating that. No, no one is interested in that. Just your table and what data you have got, what result you have got from your table. And don't talk about graphs in your text. No one is interested in I mean discussing graph. On x-axis what is there, on y-axis what is there, point 1 is indicating this, point 2 is indicating that, this bar is indicating that. No, don't use that. So these are the things that you are going to avoid while writing your result. So check the requirement and standards of that particular journal when you are including tables and figures in your result section. Figures and explanation should not be same. Whatever I have explained below figure, it should not be explained in result section only. Okay, create caption. Caption 1, that means this is figure 1, table 1, which is indicating this particular data. So you are going to specify, you are not going to keep readers ki jo sochna hai soch lo, I'm not going to explain, it is your responsibility. So don't do that. Okay, so how result can be compose, or how it can be, or what are the steps you are going to use while composing result of your data. So present and layout are determined by specific of research and design study, like the data can be explained in qualitative as well as quantitative way. Some survey can be done which can be shown in the form of graphs, or some findings, some values. Suppose if I'm synthesizing, so time can be shown. Okay, so based on guidelines of target journal and editor, you can compose result of your given finding, or result of your finding. So what steps? So step 1 is consult guidelines, or what I can say, instructions which are provided by journal, in what format they want your result. Then consider your result in relation to journal's requirement. Focus on results which are more relevant to your finding. Don't मतलब जो main है वो छोड़ के बाकी सब we don't want to discuss, we don't want to show. We want relevant data only, we want relevant values only. So just focus on those, and catalog your result and subheadings, and clarify your that will be clarifying your reports. Okay, so design figures. If you have, suppose I have synthesized nanoparticle, and after synthesizing nanoparticles, if color change would be there. So initially, if the color of solution is green, and after subjecting that particular solution to some particular say reagent solvent, and if I'm getting something different, green to brown ho gaya, so you can indicate that, you can include. So include figure, table to illustrate your data. Number them accordingly, figure 1 2 3, table 1 2 3, graph 1 2 3, and that data, it should be self-explanatory. As I have already told you, you are not going to explain graph in detail in your result section. No, it should be self-explanatory. That means what is there on y-axis, what this graph is all about, it should be there in, it should be mentioned on graph only. You are not supposed to write that part in results section. Okay. Use abbreviations, restate research questions, aims, summarize your key findings in result section, and always write your result in past tense and in active voice, because you have done that and you already have done that work in past. You are not going to do that in future, then that would be not the something which you already have done. So use sentences in past tense only. Again, the step that you're going to follow: review, edit, revise your draft again and again. You just check accuracy, whether I have used correct method to calculate percentage or not, or that is incorrect, because at the end, if the finding is false, then anything can happen. So you have to check, you have to cross check the accuracy of your result. Read your draft aloud to catch language error. Many a times what actually happened due to when you send your research paper to any journal, if the language is not proper, if there would be grammatical mistake, then that journal or that editor, he or she resend your paper, and some corrections are, like some modifications are required. So to avoid that, you have to just read your draft of your result loudly, so that you will come to know, yes, here I have made mistake, and you just try to resolve that mistake. So you are going to read that loudly. Okay, so when you what I can say, complete writing your result, then it comes conclusion. So after result, you are what I can say, supposed to write discussion part. Now what is the discussion? Then you are going to write, or you are going to talk about conclusion. So discussion and result, they are totally different part of your research paper. Actually, in discussion, interpretation of data is done, right? So it is most challenging part of your research paper. Let me tell you why. Because you have to be very specific. See, in the introduction section, I have shown you one inverted pyramid, in which I have told you uh, you have to be more wider when you are writing your introduction part or introduction section of your paper. But at the time of writing your discussion, you have to be broader. That means you have to be I mean, if you are getting green synthesis, or suppose I have got result, okay, at the end of result I want to interpret, and the time taken to synthesize this particular nanoparticle is less. Now I have to elaborate that. If I'm writing ki time taken was less, it was observed that time taken was less, then what I have interpreted? So you have to make broader, you have to explain that part in broader way, in wider way. So in introduction, inverted pyramid is used, and in discussion, pyramid is used. So from small point to large point to wider. Okay, so this is how you're going to discuss your result. Okay, now what else should be included in discussion? So what pattern you have followed when you got finding, when you get data? You should also evaluate your explanation that you already have proposed. You should end your scientific paper by proper conclusion. So conclusion part now I will be discussing about. So so in conclusion part, you will be restating your thesis, what actually you were discussing about, what you are interested, what your topic is interested, what your topic is all about. So you're going to add all the points, you're adding up all the points, and while adding, so just stick to the basic synthesis of information. Okay, pose a question. In the conclusion only, you are going to pose a question. You can make suggestion, or even if your finding are weak or not so satisfactory, or if you're finding some problem when you're just finding something, some data, don't mention in conclusion part. What you're going to do, you're going to highlight positive aspect of your research paper only. Okay, so just focus on that. Agar mujhe, if you're working on many papers, and if you are not getting that much information, if you are not getting many times what actually happened during our practical session. So if we are like working in a group of 3, and if there are 5 to 6 groups which are working together, which are doing experiment, so all 4 to 5 groups, they will be getting some different result, findings जो उनका data मिल रहा है. While practical I'm talking about, if it is like different, what do? You actually try to convince your teacher, your faculty member, that this is sir वो instrument खराब था, sir, I did not hit that up to 30 minutes or 35 minutes. Before 30 minutes only I have switched off burner. I did not added proper amount of or proper volume of solvent, so that's why I have got less yield. So as you just try to cover your what I can say discrepancy when you are doing practical, you try to put yourself in positive way to your faculty member. In same way, in conclusion, don't write anything negative. You have done work, you have got some positive finding, so just specify that. Okay, so review more review main points so that readers can remember that जो discrepancies है उसको भूल जाओ, जो main points है just focus on that and be positive. Highlight what you think that readers should find useful or valuable. Focus on that, and don't apologize for problems or mistakes that you are your experiments, or you have with your experiment. So readers really don't care about that ki हाँ, this particular scientist or this particular researcher had made this particular mistake. No one is interested. What we are interested in reviewing that. So do that. And a good way to finish your conclusion is like you can end your conclusion, or you can finish your conclusion by writing key is with this further research. With this further research is needed to be done, and it could be useful for any further scientist who is willing to work on this particular topic. Okay, so here I have talked about conclusion. So in conclusion, as I have told you, never end with like in summary, in closing. Instead, you can write for this or further research is required. We can see, or it is clear for from this, no. So that further research could be done. Now, once you have completed your what I can say conclusion part, the next part that you are going to discuss about references and citations. Now, these are, or this part of your research paper is most important part. Whatever you have searched, what information you have gathered, what literature review you have gone through, it should be there in your paper, in your research paper. So references and citations, these are two different things. Don't get confused, or don't try to mix these things, because they are totally different. Now how, let me tell you. So these are the sources from where you can gather information. If some assignment, suppose one assignment has been given to you by your faculty member, and he or she said he just try to collect information, what you will do? You will go to library, you will search books, you will search on some website, and you will gather information. If you are not acknowledging that, that means you are copying and pasting. So these are two different things, citations and references. Okay, so what do you mean by citation? So citations are like a specific source that you have mentioned in body of your paper. As I have already told you, in literature review or in introductory part, you have mentioned that these scientists have searched this, he has invented that, he has got result like this. So you have read his paper, but if you are not acknowledging that in citation, that means you are plagiarizing. So you have to cite that. And reference is what, or references are what, list of sources from where you have got. Suppose अगर मुझे कोई सर ने और फैकल्टी ने बोला है कि just go and get some information on heterocycles. So what I will do, I will go first to library, I will search books which are there on heterocycles. So I have got to say few books, say Claydon I have received. Suppose I have visited some website where I have got information about heterocycles, so I have mentioned that part also. And I am writing some information, suppose heterocycles are this, they have application in this. So I am just writing statement, but I am not acknowledging that. That means you are not doing citation, you are not citing that, you are just writing words. So citations are important. From where you have got information, you have to, or you need to specify that. And when you are making list of those sources, that is what your references are. So this is about citation, or this is the basic difference between citations and references. Now citations can be written, or it can be put in three different ways. Like you have name and year system, you have alphabet number system, you have citation order system. I will be showing you all these three once I have finished, or I'll be finishing this. So this is how you can cite any sources. Now when you cite, and when you will be putting that particular or your citation, your source, that means in the form of references, so you need to follow some basic formats when you will be writing your references, when you will be writing the source from where you have received this information. So one example I have given. So can you see I have mentioned everything in different color. So these different colors, they are indicating some information. Now what that information is, so this yellow color which is there, or this yellow color, it is actually presenting the name of author from which I have gathered information. Red color, it is showing year of publication in which this particular scientist, that is Dubey and Nath, has published their paper on this particular topic. This blue colored line or blue color, it is actually indicating title of this research paper, what this research paper is about. Gray color is showing name of the journal, in which journal this particular research paper have been published. And finally this green color, it is indicating volume and page number of that particular research article in which, or in that particular journal. So you have to be very careful when you are referencing anything. Okay, so there are three different types of citations. Now based on journals, requirement, you can write, but most probably you use APA, you use, or you can use MLA, and you can use Chicago. So APA, it is basically used for educational purpose, psychological papers and science papers, or papers which are related to science, and for research paper which are related to humanities, MLS type of citation is used, and for business kind of research papers, Chicago style of citation is used. Okay, so these are three different sites, and these are the references from where I have finished writing my this particular presentation. And thank you so much for patiently listening to me, because I think it is almost 2 o'clock, and I hope I have finished my talk within time limit. And thank you all for patiently listening to me, and all the best for your exams, and all the best for writing your research paper. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Thank you so much for your elaborative, dynamic talk. You had covered all the points which must be considered while writing research paper. So thank you so much, and it will be really benefited to all the audience, especially the research students and the MSc students which participated in this talk. Now, I propose invite Mr. Nilesh Zadav, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemistry, Nabira Mahavidyalaya Katol, to propose a vote of thanks. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Am I audible?
Yeah, you are.
Okay. Good afternoon, one and all. I would like to thank Dr. Vishakha Telgote, madam, from bottom of my heart for giving her valuable time and delivering such a wonderful motivational lecture on simple and effective strategy for writing a research paper. Truly, madam, all participants surely got an idea about simple and effective strategy for writing a research papers. Also, I would like to thank Dr. Gandhare sir for nice introduction of the guest speaker, Dr. Reena Mishra madam for comparing the session, Mr. Kailas More sir, Dr. Jivani sir for their technical support. Lastly, I would like to thank all the participants for participating and listening carefully with enthusiasm. With the permission of organizing committee, I would like to conclude here that today's session is over. We will meet tomorrow with our new guest speaker. Take care. Thank you, all of you. Over to you, madam. Thank you, madam.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you so much, sir, and thank you all the students. Thank you, organizing team. Thank you, Gandhare sir.
Thanks, madam.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
More sir, close the session.
Nice session, ma'am.
More sir, you can close now.
Okay, sir.
End the session.
Okay, sir.